Okay, sorry about that. I hope that didn't ruin anyone getting on. I just had to restart the webinar so that you could, I could get a recording for it. So I hope everyone's doing awesome. It's good to see a few of you guys on here. Just so you know, if you haven't been on a webinar before, you should be able to see the chat box in the bottom. You should see me on your screen, and then throughout today I'll also be able to send you some a poll and also a few other little things. There's always a chat box if you want to chat in. So yeah, it's good to see a few of you guys on here. I know we've got quite a few people registered, so we'll be waiting for those people to jump on. But let's go ahead and get started. Today, I'm mostly talking about healing the digestive system. I have a new course coming out, and so kind of along those lines, I just wanted to talk about a few steps that you can take to actually heal your digestive system, because so many people nowadays just suffer from terrible digestive dysfunction, and it's a very common thing, very, very common thing. As I work with clients, one of the major things they want to take care of is just the digestive issues they're dealing with. They're uncomfortable, they're often painful, they're annoying, embarrassing. They can just be really tough to deal with. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and start off with a poll, and I'm going to start that, and you should be able to click on the poll, and it's what kind of digestive symptoms do you experience daily? So you can go ahead and click one or more of them. So I'll give you just a minute to go ahead and click on one of those. Gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, heartburn, indigestion, abdominal pain, cramping, burping. That's excessive burping. So go ahead and take a second and mark any of those that apply to you. I'll leave that open. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people, everybody experiencing a lot of gas. That's that we say a lot of that. Bloating, heartburn, abdominal pain, and cramping when we digest food. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. So most of us said, everybody actually said gas, some amount of gas. And you know what, a little bit of gas is actually normal, but it honestly should be very controllable, and you should be able to just pass any gas in the bathroom. It should, like, oftentimes we just experience just terrible gas, and obviously like gas bubbles in your digestive system can also create a lot of pain. So sometimes that's the abdominal pain we experience, and sometimes it's the cramping that we experience as well. So, okay. Yeah, by far gas, everyone said that. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, so I want to actually share my screen with you. I'm going to talk a little bit then about my journey and some of the experiences that I had with healing my digestive issues. Give me just 1 second, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see my slides. So my journey as a nutritional therapist kind of started with my own digestive issues. Was the main thing I was trying to take care of. In college, I was trying to pole vault for BYU. So you see me on the right, that's back in 2013, I think that was. So that was quite a few years ago. I was doing my best to work out hard, perform well, and I was eating what I was told was a healthy diet, which was very low fat and whole wheat, a lot of fruit, because fruit has a lot of nutrients in it. I was careful about how much dessert I'd eat. For snacks, I'd make sure it was trail mix and fruit. I really was following the guidelines that I was given, but I felt awful. I was bloated all the time. I would eat breakfast, and then if I had a snack, I would like immediately bloat up, almost immediately. And it's so uncomfortable. You feel huge, you look huge, you know when you're bloated and gassy. and a lot of terrible abdominal pain. I remember being curled up on my couch in my apartment one night just crying because it just hurt so, my stomach just hurt so much. It really was so life controlling. You can't go out. I was afraid of eating when I was out because I didn't know what it would do to me. I remember in high school coming home too, just eating out with friends at a restaurant and just coming home early, having to leave. I felt like I was curled up in a ball in my car. I felt like I couldn't even drive home because my stomach hurt so bad. It is absolutely life controlling. And along with that, I was having other symptoms that I didn't realize were tied to digestive issues, but I was also experiencing things like fatigue and headache, severe anemia, very severe anemia that caused me to actually have to quit track early because of my exhaustion. Very loose stools, often skin issues, allergies. I was a hot mess, absolute mess. And I was actually trying hard to fix these issues. I was going to doctors and I just wasn't receiving any real relief from anything that they were telling me. I had an endoscopy done and they told me nothing was wrong. I knew something was wrong. I felt terrible. And all I knew was that I was experiencing these symptoms and that I wasn't getting to the root of the problem with these medications that I was given. With time and research, I realized that and kind of really feeling this anyways inside of me, that the symptoms were actually not the actual problem. The symptoms were signs of a bigger problem. And this bigger problem was that something wasn't working right in my body. The problem was that the dysfunction that was happening. And so oftentimes the symptoms we experience of digestive dysfunction is all these things: the gash, the indigestion, even food cravings, constipation, diarrhea. These are signs that something isn't working right. And really, that could be any step in the whole digestive process. But something I'm going to teach you in just a few minutes is that digestion always starts from the top down, which makes sense. But when you think about it, dysfunction also starts from the top down. So if we're not first starting with the brain, involving the brain in digestion, everything else along the way is not going to work properly as well. So the body not being able to break down, absorb, or eliminate food properly is the real issue going on. It's not necessarily the symptoms. But that's how we treat it in America, really. We treat digestive symptoms with medication. We don't really get to the root of the problem. So WebMD, actually, not that I really always trust WebMD, but they have these stats on it. More than 15 million Americans use prescription PPIs. So those are things like Prilosec, Prevacid. I don't even know how to say that last one. But these are medications that aim at blocking the symptoms of digestive dysfunction. So they'll take away the heartburn or gastric reflux because of what they do. What they do to the stomach is actually stop digestion. And I mentioned this in a few platforms like Facebook or Instagram, so you might have seen that already. But they stop the production of HCl in the stomach. Now, let's start talking about then how the stomach is supposed to work and why this is so problematic if we're taking simply medications to deal with the symptoms. The stomach is designed to be highly acidic, or very, very low on the pH scale. It's going to be very, very acid. The stomach acid itself coming out of the cells in the digestive or the stomach lining is around 0.8. That's less than 1 on the pH scale. That is very, very acidic. The stomach is designed to be able to handle that low of acidity and to digest food in that environment. When food is in there digesting, the environment should be around 1.5 to 3 on the pH scale, so still very acidic. And what this does is it actually activates certain chemicals and enzymes to digest food. Pepsin, gastric enzymes are responsible for the breakdown of food, and they need to be activated by HCl, and by this, it's acidic environment. This actually starts with messengers from the brain. The brain, when we experience or think or smell food, actually will trigger hormones to tell the stomach to start releasing stomach acid before we even eat. And you can tell that when you even think about food. Like, I'm starting to salivate right now. Thinking about eating is like, that happens in our mouth, right? And it happens in our stomach too, where the brain's sending messengers to the body to start producing liquids, enzymes, saliva, stomach acid to digest food. So what's the problem then if we are taking medications that stop this production of HCl? If we think we have heartburn, if we're experiencing these symptoms of digestive dysfunction, it literally will stop the stomach from being acidic. So while you don't have a very acidic environment that won't let you have heartburn, the other side effect is you're actually not digesting food as the side effect. So what happens from there then, you have this rotting mass in your gut that is just putrefying, rancidifying, fermenting. This food can't be broken apart properly or digested. The nutrients cannot be extracted properly. They don't bind to certain other enzymes properly to be absorbed later on. And you're malnourished. And you have this rotting mass that is forced to move through the rest of the digestive tract because it's not going to come up. It's got to go somewhere. So this rotting mass of putrefying, rancidifying, and fermenting foods is moving through the digestive tract. And this just wreaks havoc on the digestive lining. So further, with more and more time, your digestion is getting worse and worse through not only medications, but also some other habits and foods that I'll teach you can do this to the stomach and the rest of the digestive tract. So severe digestive issues. So let's get to a few steps in preventing this. So if we don't want to take medications, we're still having digestive issues, what do we need to do to actually fix that? And it starts, like I said before, from north to south. It starts in the brain. We have to get the brain involved in digestion. The brain is responsible for preparing the body for food. And in order to do that, in order for these messengers to happen, the brain and the nervous system needs to be in a parasympathetic state. Now, our society is very good at staying in a sympathetic state. The sympathetic state is that fight or flight response. It's a stressed response. We are working jobs. We are taking care of families. We are driving kids to practice. We are taking care of so many things. We are always in a stressed state. And rarely do we take the time to actually relax and think about the process of eating and getting our brain involved in eating. To switch into a parasympathetic state, the body becomes calm, relaxed, and at peace. And at this point, the brain can actually recognize, hey, it's time to eat food. It's time to send messages to the body to prepare for food. This is actually really interesting. These are actually a couple slides in my new Healing the Digestive System course, and I talk a little bit about this. Some of the cultural traditions that other cultures have used for centuries in promoting health through digestion. We have just lost so many of the cultural traditions that help us digest. Many traditions still understand that digestion and gut health is the key to health, and as Americans, we just don't focus on that. In many Asian cultures, sitting on the ground and sitting as low to the ground as possible is a way of helping the mind switch to a parasympathetic state. So whether that's on the ground cross-legged or on cushions with a very low table, that has been a part of their culture that helps them switch to a parasympathetic state, that helps you focus on relieving tension, slowing down your breathing, and focusing on your body, involving your body and your brain in the digestion of food. So in Middle East, you often see people and meals, part of their tradition is just eating with their hands. They will eat at a community table and use their naan bread to scoop out food. They'll use their hands. And this experience helps you actually be involved with the experience of eating. The touch and the feel of the food will actually help stimulate the body to be involved, in the brain, be involved in the process of eating. So some of these traditions we just don't use anymore. But what then do? We need to get into a parasympathetic state as well. We need to learn to help the brain and the body switch to a calm and relaxed state while we eat. And what this does, again, is it helps trigger the stomach and the saliva in the mouth to start preparing for food. when you have a good environment to digest, we properly break down food in a way that will help it move throughout the rest of the body without any digestive issues. So some of the things that can help, some of the things that you can do, and you can go ahead and screenshot this. If you're taking notes, you can write these things down too, but these are a few of the steps that you'll need to take if you want to get rid of digestive issues. So if you want to screenshot, on Apple, it's like Command Shift 4 or Command Shift 3. I'm not sure about PCs. It's been a while. I think there's like a print screen button, but so some of the things that you can do to help digest is sit down when you eat. Always, always, always. The closer to the floor, the better. Which means that sometimes you might even want to eat on the floor. Find a good comfy rug and eat on the floor. See if you can't, that doesn't help your body really experience eating more. And do not eat while driving, standing in front of the fridge, multitasking, or even preparing food. I'm really bad at that. If I'm ever out to eat at a buffet or something like that, I will eat most of my plate before I get back to the table. And that's just something that's been part of my brain for so long. It is really hard to change that habit, but that is so important. I've never focused on that until the last couple of years, and it has drastically changed the way my body feels when I eat. So sitting down only while you eat and relaxing and not multitasking, making sure your brain is involved in the process of eating. And then also, don't eat while you're angry or upset or stressed. I know that's really hard, but while you're in a state of anxiousness, your body can also not produce the correct enzymes and stomach acid that you need to digest. So that last one doesn't look like it's part of the other one. So if you need to relax, take 4 deep breaths at least, soothing breaths. Breathing will help calm you down and switch you into a more relaxed state. So, that's the next one. Other ways to do this too is to chew your food thoroughly. So saliva actually has an enzyme within it called amylase, and this amylase actually helps digest carbohydrates. So that's what helps break it down. So the slower you eat, the better your food will be broken down to move throughout the rest of your body to be absorbed, and the more you'll feel full, the more you'll recognize that you feel satiated when you eat. And so that's very important too with not overeating, which can overload the digestive system. Sometimes that's really hard for people to chew really well. I've heard nutritionists talk and nutritional therapists say 30 times to chew a bite, and I really struggle with that. What I do is I actually put my fork down in between bites, and that forces me to not scarf like my food into my mouth, but to actually chew well and think about how I'm feeling as I eat. And then to also aid in thinking about how you experience the food, just turning off the electronics, which can also be very hard. Because if you're eating by yourself, it's very easy to get distracted with electronics, and electronics are very stimulating to the brain. So tablets, phones, computers, laptops, multitasking during work is not helpful at all for digestion. So we've talked about getting the body into the parasympathetic state, which helps produce stomach acid, but that's just one step. So in my course, you'll learn 6 different steps. Really helping the body switch to parasympathetic is the first step, and I shared a few of those steps in the course. I do share more, some of the ways that you can get into a parasympathetic state, because it can be really tough for some people. Another step is helping the stomach actually learn to produce stomach acid. If the stomach has been suppressed for a long time, if you haven't been incorporating good habits or have been taking stomach acid blockers, or if you've been having to use Tums or what's that pink bottle one? Oh, Pepto-Bismol, something to help relieve symptoms, you have to reteach the stomach how to produce stomach acid. It's been suppressed for so long that the stomach says, okay, I'm not going to produce stomach acid very much anymore. Apparently it's not what I'm supposed to do, even though it is. So we need to teach the stomach how to produce stomach acid. I have a whole lecture and section in my course on how to do this, and these are just a few tips that you can do. An hour before a meal, drink some water with apple cider vinegar, or drink some water with lemon in it. Apple cider vinegar and lemon both help stimulate the stomach to start producing stomach acid. In the mornings, this is very helpful for people too. A lot of people don't find that they're hungry in the morning, and that is because their stomach acid is low and it's not producing enough stomach acid. So drinking water with some either apple cider vinegar or lemon in it can really help start stimulating gastric juices. 15 minutes before a meal, this is when you want to start relaxing, getting your body into a really parasympathetic state. And something that's also in a lot of different cultures, especially European cultures, is eating a bitter green salad. It's part of their courses because it helps stimulate gastric juices and bile flow. So eating a small salad before your meal that has collards, kale, turnip greens, beet greens, Swiss chard, endive, arugula, these greens will help stimulate the production of gastric juices and help your body prepare for a meal. And during a meal, sometimes for people who've really suppressed their stomach acid for so long or have been eating a diet high in alcohol, refined foods, sodas that also suppress stomach acid production, they need to actually supplement with stomach acid or other supplements that stimulate stomach acid. So as a nutritional therapist, I work with a company that has certain supplements that help do that. There's also some over-the-counter ones. You can go to your local health food store and they'll help you find a supplement that will help you help stimulate stomach acid. Sometimes it's simply HCl with betaine, or with pepsin or gentian bitters. Those all help stimulate digestion. And during a meal, make sure to chew well and eat slowly. And then after a meal is also very important because your food will still be there for a while, digesting, churning, mixing the acid and the enzymes, making sure that all the nutrients are getting absorbed. So during your lunch break or whenever you're taking lunch, take time to relax, meditate, to digest, and take a light walk. All those things can be very helpful in helping your food digest. Okay. However, the stomach is not the end of digestion. The pancreas releases a lot of important digestive enzymes as well as the gallbladder. The gallbladder is responsible for the production of for the delivery of bile. Bile is actually produced in the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and then secreted into the small intestines where it mixes with your food and helps digest fats. So, the small intestines, the large intestines also are a huge part in digestion where nutrients are actually absorbed in the small intestines, and the large intestines, food and nutrients, actually water, is recycled back up into the body, and then you release and eliminate your food as stools. So all these steps actually need to be working properly, and just getting the body in the parasympathetic state and helping your stomach acid produce efficiently and sufficiently is just the start. And so that's why I've created this pilot program, actually this whole course that helps people walk through step by step how to get each organ and organ system actually working correctly. The online courses are really cool because I can offer them at a really good price. So you'll see in the corner that like a consultation with me as a nutritional therapist is $80 an hour for a regular visit. And just 6 visits. So if I were to teach you those 6 steps, are already $480. And that can get pretty expensive if you're meeting with a nutritional therapist. And I really struggled with that going through my gut healing diet, is I couldn't really afford to meet with someone who could walk me through these steps. And what I really wish is that I could get these steps and someone could walk me through without me having to schedule all these visits. And so that's why I really, as a nutritional therapist, I feel like it's easy for people, and it's easier to do it on your own time and just to learn as someone's walking you through these steps. And so I've created an entire e-course for this purpose, to help people get and find relief from digestive issues through steps. And I just walk you through. So if you look on the right, this program is called Healing the Digestive System, Eat with Confidence, Not Gas. Appropriate, right? The pilot program is actually discounted because I want feedback. I want to know if this course is actually helpful to you. These are the steps that I've taken to heal my gut and that I help actually teach other people. And so I do have clients who've already had incredible success on this through these steps. However, it's different on an online course, and so that's the feedback that I'm looking for this online course. So you get over 13 video presentations, more if you need it, and if you tell me that's what you want, by myself, a certified nutritional therapist. You get step-by-step guides. So each step laid out for you. What do you need to do first, then this, because that's important. The order is important. We got to start from the top, the beginning. We can't start with just the large intestines. We got to start from the beginning. You get printable worksheets and checklists and PDFs to actually help you learn and implement the steps. So for example, hydration is a huge part of helping digestive issues. So I'm giving you a checklist to figure out how much water you should be drinking. If you're drinking sodas, what you need to do in order to make sure you keep hydrated, things like that. You have built-in quizzes. So I've created quizzes for you to help you remember what you're learning. These aren't great like pass or fail. They're just a way to help you remember and see how much you're learning. And then also some guides to buying probiotics, because it's very, very important in the large intestines to making sure you're having regular bowel movements. To buying also supplements like that stomach acid. So I've given you a full guide on how to do that. And then also meal plans and shopping guides. What foods can help you with healing your body, and what foods will hurt and cause digestive issues. And there are foods that will do that. And I teach you all that in this course. And you get it. So all of this is valued at $654. The pilot course is $79. And that's just actually for this weekend only, because after that, it will actually go up to the price that I'll probably be offering it for a few months, which would be around $300. So it's still really, really good deal. Because all of this is valued a lot more, and I want to get this out and helping people. And so it'll probably be around $319. The pilot course is $79. And what you do for the pilot course is just respond to some emails that I'll give you. And the emails are really just giving feedback. So let me actually pull up my screen for you. Let's see. And I can actually show you the page. And actually, let me also answer this question too. If you don't have time for this, is it better to just hold off eating until do? Oh, sorry, I didn't see this before. So what was it I was talking about? Is it sitting down or being like getting into a parasympathetic state for the attendee who asked that question? I don't have your name with it. So go ahead and just type in the Q&A again what it was exactly, if it was sitting down. Sorry, I was looking at my screen, so I didn't see your Q&A. Okay, and I will pull up the course right now to show you what it is like, so that you might know if it's good for you. And if you have any other questions, go ahead and type them in the chat or the Q&A. Yes, sitting down and taking time afterward to relax. Yes, absolutely. If you don't, so let's say you have a really tight lunch. I had some teachers who said their lunches were like 20 minutes. Now, what do you do then if you have 20 minutes to eat lunch and you're trying to warm it up, you're trying to get it ready? That is really, really tough, because think about what happens if your body's not ready for it. Something that I might recommend then is to make sure, just do like a quick breathing exercise. Like do 4, I'm trying to like think of the name of it. Just do 4 counts breaths. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4 times. And then if you need to just snack on something to get you through, make sure you're really in that moment. Standing is it's very hard to digest food properly while standing. Even if you could just like pop a squat anywhere, somewhere, and just sit down and breathe for a couple minutes, it's better than nothing. Because walking, standing, eating a granola bar while driving or walking is, honestly, you could try it out. Because I always experience gas or bloating if I do that, just because our bodies aren't prepared for the food. Great question. Yeah, if there's more, go ahead and ask in the Q&A or the chat. I'll also share with you the link in the chat for the course. So I'm going to pull it up and then share my screen, but I'll also put it in in the chat box. Oh, there it is. So you should be able to pull up the chat, and that's where you can access the course. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is where you can access the course. It's nourishfamily.teachable.com. So Teachable is just like the platform. My blog is nourishfamilynutrition.com. So where you want to check, this is the other classes I teach. These are in-person classes. You're welcome to enroll in the next ones as well. They'll be up in just a week. This is how to heal digestive issues, eat with confidence, not gas. So there's a brief introduction here about the course itself. And then you can scroll down and look, oh, there's me, hello. And then you can look at the class curriculum. So you have quite a few video lectures. So these are short introductions. And then it gets you into the steps, some more education. I walk you through each organ of digestion and tell you what they do and why they need to be working right. I'll also walk you through a few of the steps that I talked about here. So this first one is a little bit more in depth about that rotting mass that's moving through your gut and causing you issues. And then I go through steps like hydration, healing the stomach, about stomach acid, again, getting that stomach acid producing correctly. Knowing what fats will actually help you digest and which ones will really, really mess up your system. Also inflammatory foods. So I'll walk you through how to eliminate foods that might be causing you issues, because certain foods do. They will make you bloated, they will make you gassy, even if you're sitting and eating. So I'll walk you through how to step-by-step eliminate which foods and do like almost a trial and error, and then putting them back in and see if that's what was causing your issues as well. I'll talk about healing the gut lining, about how important probiotics and fermented foods are, and then also about how to move forward with confidence, about really making sure that you're establishing patterns and habits for life. So this course is available, oh, some Q&A. This is a self-paced course, so you'll have this course forever, but I do need feedback. So you'll have to finish it for me if you enroll in the pilot program. So you can enroll down here. You can enroll in the pilot program pricing. You can pay full price if you want, but this weekend I would enroll in the pilot program pricing, because really you just have to respond to some weekly emails that will only take you really a few minutes. And then there will be a payment process later on if you have people who are interested, but that honestly, I would just do the $79 if I were you. So you can enroll there, and you have access to the course right away, absolutely right away. So you can start watching the videos today and start getting healing. You do get some of so you have access with the pilot course, the materials from this first week and this section, and the step 1. Step 2 comes next week, and then step 3 is also next week, a few days after, and then they're each kind of given to you week at a time, so that I can also give you more if that's what you feel like you need. I want to open it up too as well to any other questions that you have. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and type it in the Q&A or in the chat. I want to make sure to answer any questions you have about digestion, about the pilot course, about nutritional therapy in general. You can go ahead and type those in the Q&A. Again, the pilot course will be available for $79 through Sunday. So today, tomorrow, and Sunday. You are welcome to enroll anytime during that time. But after Sunday, it will go back up to the other price, the $319. What it will be at. Okay, so I'll check as well the other Q&A. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I will also send you a recording of this webinar so that you can have it for later, or to show others if you know anyone who's also interested, or if you have family members that experience digestive issues that you want them to help heal. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, I'll also include, so I have in the chat box, you can access the course there at the nourishfamily.teachable.com, and I'll also include my email if you have any other questions. So it's amymoffettntp@gmail.com. you have questions about if the course is right for you, or more questions about the pilot course. I would check out the FAQs and also the description on the page to just look at what is included in the pilot course. Okay. You guys are great. Thanks for all coming. It's exciting to have you here. Again, hopefully I'll see you in the pilot course.